Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. It's Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist. I have two more licensed marriage and family therapists with me today. I have JJ West. How you doing, JJ?
Hey, Chris. I'm doing great. Good to be on with you.
Hey, it's great to have you. Great to hang out. And I also have Marc Cameron. How you doing, Marc?
I'm doing great.
It's great to see you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Marc, I always love hearing from you and love gleaning from your wisdom. So what do you have for us today?
Yeah, so today I want to talk about how much credibility should we give our feelings. So
that's really
good. Last week I had two people tell me that they were feeling guilty about feeling a certain way. So one of them was feeling guilty because he felt relieved when his mother died, because she was a very critical and demanding person. And then the other person felt angry about an injustice that happened, but she felt guilty about feeling angry about that. So, and both of them had legitimate feelings. I told the first person that when we're under pressure, when you're being pushed down, when you're being pressured, when that pressure's released, you feel relieved. It's just a normal feeling. You just will feel relieved. And it's possible to feel relieved and grieve at the same time. And for the second person, I told them that it's normal to feel angry when an injustice happens.
Yes.
Feeling angry and being resentful, those are two different things. So now there's two ends to the spectrum here. Right, one end is obey your feelings, like the Sprite commercial that says, obey your thirst,
yes,
right? Because I feel it, it must be true, and therefore I should act on it, right? And we call that emotional reasoning, right? And then the other end of the spectrum is don't trust your feelings at all because the heart is deceitful, which is taken from a verse in Jeremiah, who was an Old Testament prophet speaking to the people of Israel about what was going to happen to them because of their idol worship and their disobedience. Now, people who subscribe to this extreme believe that we shouldn't then give any credibility to our feelings. But, I mean, we have to identify what Jeremiah, the time, the place, the
context,
the people exactly who he was speaking to. So now the truth is somewhere between the two of this. I mean, God is an emotional God. He has emotions, and he's made us in his image with emotions. And emotions have corresponding needs. And so our emotions tell us about what we need to do to reconcile them. However, feelings are not facts. Okay, I like to say that feelings are indicators, not dictators.
Oh, I love that.
They are descriptive of what is happening on the inside of us, but they are not prescriptive of what we then should go and do. So we should pay attention to our feelings because they either tell us about our needs or they tell us about our wounding. Okay, because when we're wounded, then we become more sensitive and we think that we need something when sometimes we don't actually need that. It's because of our wounds. So we need to decipher, is it a legitimate need or is it amplified by our past historical wounding? And there's a phrase that we often say here, if it's hysterical, it's historical.
Yep, that's good.
Right? And so, and what I'm talking about here is emotional intelligence. We all have wounds, but when we know our wounds, then we can stop blaming others for making us feel a certain way and then demanding for them to change. Or we can stop trying to heal our wounds by burying them behind the feelings of love and justifying them or over-spiritualizing them, right? If you know your wounds, you'll actually save yourself a whole lot of heartache. And if you're not aware of your wounds, give us a call. We can put you in touch with a therapist that takes a historical approach and help you figure that out.
Absolutely, yeah, because that pain that we don't have yet healed or resolved is going to show up in so many different ways.
And we all have historical wounds.
Absolutely.
Every single one of us.
And we're going to actually talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on in the show, because that's actually one of the strategies that we have in our intimacy and marriage intensive is how do we talk about these big emotions that come up in our marriages and how do we work through them and how are they tied to our past? Well, we're going to jump onto the calls right when we get back to this to see what is going on with your feelings today.
I've been struggling with a porn addiction for the last 20 years.
Are you struggling with porn? New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
Every Man's Battle explains to you why you are like you are, and they give you the tools and they show you how to work your way through the problems and where to get help and how to get help and who to get help through.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
This was the first time in my life that I ever felt comfortable sharing the real me with other men.
Get help on January 20th in Atlanta. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50 on your registration.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me.
You don't have to struggle any longer. 1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. It's myself, Chris Williams, Marc Cameron, JJ West, and it's also Lynn in Sacramento, California, who listens to us through our podcast. Lynn, tell us, what's going on today? How can we help you?
Hi, yes. Thank you for letting me talk today. I've been trying to call you guys for a minute. My question is, how do I love my 22-year-old daughter who was a Christian at 15 and recently became homosexual, and now just told us recently she has a girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
How do we love her, my husband and myself and our other two children?
Yes, and so she's 22 and has recently come out as homosexual. She's in a gay relationship, and like, how do we, with our Christian understanding and values, continue to love her? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Basically, we're trying to focus on her relationship with God instead of this relationship, and getting lots of input from people that we know and are close to that have had similar situations. She could talk to anyone about it.
Yeah.
She lives in another city.
Is she a Christian herself, Lynn? Does she say that she's a Christian?
She is, yeah. Okay. My husband and I actually placed her when she was 15, and I encouraged her to wait, but she was gung-ho, wanted to do it. So we said, Jesus said, let the little children come to me.
Yeah. So does she have any discrepancy between the way she's living her life and what she believes? How is she managing that?
She thinks she can be a Christian and be gay. She just has to find church.
Yeah. And so what is she, when you say, like, how do we love her? Love's a big word that can be interpreted in many different ways. What is she asking from you?
I think she's basically asking for acceptance from us and just to continue the relationship, because we've seen so many of her friends who have come out and their parents have totally,
Well, so is she asking for acceptance of her or affirmation of what she's doing? Because those are two different things.
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah,
again?
Is she asking for acceptance of who she is, as a human being, as your daughter, or is she asking for affirmation from you for what, how she's living her life? Sometimes people say, I need you to say that this is right, what I'm doing, otherwise we can't be in relationship. I've seen that before. What's she asking from you?
Well, I believe she just wants, from our 2.5-hour conversation last Saturday, she just wants us to be in the know. She wants to be completely open with us about everything. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that she wants to come and talk to us, and I just really affirm that in her. And she, we tried to not focus on a homosexual relationship, tried to focus on the deeper issues and ask lots of questions.
Yeah, well, Lynn, I hear that, man, there's some really, really good things going on here.
It's the fact that she wants to be open with you is a good thing. The fact that she trusts you, the fact that, you have the connection where she feels safe to tell you about that is a really good thing. This is really hard, Lynn, when we have our own convictions ourselves and our kids, and they're adults. So, she's not actually a kid anymore. She's an adult daughter. She's very young. She's at a transitional adult, as Jim Burns would say here. But she's transitioning into adulthood nonetheless, and she's wanting to be open with you. And this can be really hard when they go a different way than we think their lives should go from us. What I would encourage you to do here is don't make the entire relationship about this one issue. It's important to you, obviously, to be able to have informational discussions and deep discussions with her about this, but I wouldn't make the entire relationship about that. Does she know how you feel? Does she know what you believe?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
We've been open with our lives, and my husband.
So you can accept her, and you can accept other people in her life, and you can love them being image bearers of God without affirming their decisions or agreeing with their behavior. It's possible to do that. It is really, really difficult, though.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good.
Especially in the holidays.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
JJ, what do you think, man? Oh, may have dropped JJ. So, Lynn, I would just affirm that, what Mark is saying there. And that is that it, as you're saying, Mark, it's difficult to love someone who believes and behaves differently than us. But I do think that it is an essential skill as Christians that we continue to work hard on and develop. And I think that there's a lot of times where we want to get to the conclusion of the matter or the outcome of the matter, where we have to stay in the process of the matter. And so I really like what you're saying, Mark, about letting your daughter know that, hey, me and your dad and your siblings, we're going to be figuring this out as we go, as you may be figuring it out as we go as well.
And God loves us, even though we don't do what He asks us to do. The Bible says, while we were still sinners, that's when He came and died for us. And
Jesus had a habit of hanging out with people that the religious folk weren't too happy with, right? Like he frequently showed up in places that the religious people said, you shouldn't go there as a rabbi, you shouldn't go there as a religious person. And he said, no, I'm going to go to those who are hurting and those who are sick. They need my love, they need my message of hope. And so to be willing to continue to have that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The sick that need the doctor, not the healthy, right?
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so your desire to continue to love your daughter well, your desire to have a good relationship with her is so important. I'm really proud of you for having that desire. Executing that desire means, like Mark said, I'm not going to make our relationship all about your sexuality. Our relationship is about you as a person and us as your parents who love you. And you've probably said when your child was growing up and your children growing up, no matter what you do, you can never do anything that is going to stop me from loving you, right? And so we reaffirm that by our behavior when they present us with something that we go, ooh, that's hard to hear, but that doesn't change my love for you.
Right. Yeah. We started crying, and we're not criers, my daughter and myself. Like the fact that she even thought that I would change my love for her. I said, I'm probably just going to love you even more. I'm hoping my my husband was calling her the prodigal daughter, and I was like, oh no, don't say that. Because we just want her, it's just, figuring it out. We're just figuring it out.
And I think that that's a really healthy place to be, is that we're figuring it out as we go. And again, I think there's a lot of these issues in life. I think our sexuality is one of those that we want to all figure it out right now. And that's the other thing, too, is it's like I can't figure out anyone else's righteousness because my own is all I can handle and then some. And even that needs a savior.
Well, and it's the relationship that is influential. It's the relationship that often helps us shift the way that we think or what we do. You know, there's a saying, rules without relationship lead to rebellion. And so if you're strict and you're rigid and the relationship is based off of she doing what you think that she should do and behaving, she's going to pull away. She's going to push away. So the fact that she wants to tell you and be open with you, cultivate the relationship.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, and again, I hear some great things about this relationship, that she's open. It means she's safe with you, trusting of you, and that as a family that you will be walking through this together, trying to figure out what is best and what's God's best as you move forward.
And pick your moments to have those thoughtful discussions. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any thoughtful discussions with her. Just pick your moments to do that.
Yeah. I think that's really good. We're going to send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children by Jim Burns. And yes, and though it may not be specific to this situation, it really does talk in there about, you know, how our children choose, do different things in their lives than what we would have them to be. So, Lynn, thank you so much for calling in today, and thank you for loving your daughter the way that you do. We're going to go right back to the phones. We are going to Nancy in Tampa, Florida. And let me try that one more time. Oh, I think that was my mistake. We're going to go to Lucia in Dallas, Texas, listening on KWRD. Lucia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi. Tell us, what's going on today? How can we help you?
I was calling because I am 6 months post my discovery day that my husband had been unfaithful to me 10 years ago. In addition to an ongoing problem with porn.
Yes.
And he is doing, you know, all the right things where he knows he has a problem. He's actively working his recovery.
So he's in a recovery program?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
great.
I attended the Restore as well with New Life Ministries. I mean, we're both in a really good place working towards healing and restoring redemption of our relationship. We've read all the books. We've become experts pretty much.
Yeah, so you're well on your track doing what you can. And so what's the issue and what can we help you with today?
So the issue is just we feel stuck. How do we, like, we're doing
Do you feel stuck as a couple or as individuals?
As a couple, like, how do we move forward, or is this just part of the process? Because it's still, you know, the emotional roller coaster for me, and he does a great job at validating and affirming me.
Okay, so let me jump in because this is important for us to help you specifically. What does stuck look like for you guys?
It feels like we're not making progress, but we're also not regressing.
Okay, what would progress look like for you guys?
I guess it would look like I'm more healed. I'm not on the constant emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. JJ, what do you think here? Like, you see this a lot.
Yeah. So, Lucia, I hope that you'll hear this as comfort and love and empathy. You're so early on in your recovery process that it should still be a roller coaster ride right now. You're actually right where you're supposed to be. You're not stuck. You're not behind schedule. You're right on track with where you're supposed to be. It's just hard. Recovery is really, really hard, especially recovery from betrayal. It's extremely difficult emotionally and mentally. And so, yes, it is emotionally crazy. You are on that roller coaster of grieving where it's all over the place, and you don't get back to even a feeling of normality, if I can make up a word, that feeling until a good 18 to 24 months into the process. And you're 6 months in. Okay. So know that you're actually not behind, you're not stuck. And number two, know that there's a lot of stuff in our spiritual development where we're doing work and it doesn't feel like we're seeing progress, but it's actually making progress. It's like trying to break up a big block of cement with a sledgehammer. You wail away at that thing for hours and it feels like you're getting nowhere. But there's all these micro fissures that are being formed in the concrete, and eventually a blow shows up on the surface.
Yeah.
But right now, you're doing work, it's breaking up underneath. You'll eventually see the results of it on the surface.
Absolutely. Because, Lucia, we really honor your progress, the work that you and your husband are doing. There is a payoff, but like JJ said, it just takes time. We're going to send you a copy of Worthy of Her Trust. It just shows you, like, that's another journey that you'll see as a 7-year journey, but really affirms what you guys are doing. We'll be right back.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hid with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would up getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today. I just want to remind everyone out there that we have a $385,000 matching gift when you text the word match, M-A-T-C-H, to 28950, or you can give online at newlife.com or give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Anything that you give right now is doubled in its impact, doubled in its contribution. And so contribute today and help us keep this ministry going to bring hope and healing in life's hardest places. We are now going to go to Nancy, that is calling, and that we dropped. That was, I think, my fault.
Hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello.
Nancy,
Yay.
I think it was an
Yay.
admission. It was I pushed the wrong button, so now I pushed the right button,
All
and so
right. Awesome.
It's because you've been working on not pushing buttons.
not pushing
so that's a good
buttons,
thing.
right? So sticking with the button theme, Nancy, what's your hot button issue today, and how can we help you?
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I'll just tell you that the devil just tries to get into families and just tries to stir the pot and tries to separate. Both sides of our family, my husband's and mine, but particularly my oldest daughter, is involved in a very abusive physical, mental relationship. She's got 2 older daughters from a previous marriage and a baby with this man. And he was raised, foster care, the whole 9 yards. So he came into the relationship with a lot of baggage. And she continues to go back to him after being beat in the face.
Oh, man.
After several calls to the police. This last time, she called the police. She lives in a different county now, and there's a law there that when you call for a domestic, anything domestic, someone has to go to jail.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Did you know about that? I didn't know.
I've heard of that in counties.
Yeah.
Yeah, several counties
So
are
she
like
was
that.
holding his wrist, saying, "Please don't go. We need to talk this out." So when the police came, they asked him, "Did you touch her?" No. Asked her, "Did you touch him?" Yes. I grabbed his. Okay, you're coming with us.
Yeah.
She
So
lost the kids. The 2 oldest were there. They called Daddy. Daddy came to pick them up. Their baby.
well, Nancy,
Well,
let me jump in for time's sake, okay? Because we get the
I know, I'm
get the
sorry.
no.
I'm
You don't
sorry.
apologize. You're doing a great job because that is a really, really good picture that your oldest daughter is in a very dangerous and abusive relationship where kids are involved. Correct?
How old are the kids?
And that's what I'm concerned about. The oldest is 9. The middle is 6, and she has a severe stuttering problem. And Mommy will say, no, it's not due to this. The baby just turned 1.
Okay. So
my
what's
question,
yeah?
Yeah, my question to you is, I was given custody of that baby while Children and Family Services did their whole investigation and found out that she was a wonderful mom and all of this. But where do I, as her mother, she's 34, where do I step back and say, you know what, you're an adult, I'm going to give you tough love? Or do I just keep saying, I'm going to help, because now it's in your face. It's, Mom, look what he did for Rio. Look what he did. And it's like, I don't want to know what he did because I'm just concerned that there's going to be another blowout.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So Nancy, I think that I think that there are some really, really important things here, especially since kids are involved with. But Mark, what does Nancy do from here?
Yeah, this is hard. I don't think you should completely step away here because you've got your grandkids there, and it's this is not their fault. They are just kind of in this hurricane, and they need help. And I think if you stepped completely away, that they may not have any type of safe, loving support in their life. This is really difficult because your daughter is stuck in the cycle of abuse. And when we know when someone's in the cycle of abuse, there's this codependency that happens. I talked about this actually a couple of weeks ago in the open about the cycle of abuse and the different stages. And after the event, then there's the love bombing and then there's the gaslighting, and it just kind of all continues happening again. Yeah. I mean, there may be certain, when they're in the honeymoon stage, that is maybe when you get to hold your boundaries. That may be when you get to distance a little bit because things are maybe safer in that moment. But, if she wants particular help, you may have to put boundaries around the help that you can give. Like, I can help you in this moment, and she's likely going to need help when the incident has happened. But to keep encouraging her, to get into recovery, she needs to. Does she have a therapist?
Yes, she's going to therapy because the police made her do that for her record to be clean. So she's going to therapy. He's supposedly going. I'm not, positive on that. So she's learning about boundaries and all of that, which is great.
So sometimes we have to allow the crisis to happen. So she already temporarily lost her kids one time, and that's not good. We don't want her to lose her kids, but we also don't want her kids to be in this situation where that is dangerous, because if he's physically abusing her, that's not good emotionally and mentally on them. And then what happens when he starts to physically abuse them? And so,
and you as the grandmother can say, I'm a resource, a safe place for the grandkids to come. And I can say to my daughter, I love you. It's hard for me to say this, but I need you to understand the impact that it has on me when you repeatedly come back with the same story of abuse, even though I've said this is not a safe place for you, right? Like it's okay for you to say that to her as well.
So
Okay, thank
yeah, so Nancy, we're going to head to the break, and we're going to come back with a couple helpful directions right after this. And we know that, man, this is such a difficult situation that too many people are involved in. We'll be right back.
Restore gave me strength. It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, May 2nd through the 4th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch, listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us today. We've been talking with Nancy, whose oldest daughter is in an abusive relationship where the children have been deeply impacted and in a dangerous situation. We were talking at the break, and JJ, you had I thought, really good direction for Nancy to go from here.
Yeah, so Nancy, the one kind of leverage piece that you have here is the grandkids. In that, clearly your daughter loves her kids and she's a good mom and she wants to keep her kids safe. And so one direction that you, and maybe you one-on-one with your daughter, maybe a family intervention, if we're all seeing the same thing, is to sit down with your daughter and say, look, we're seeing this cycle of abuse happen over and over. Now DCF has been called. If you stay committed to being in this abusive relationship with this man, you could risk your ongoing relationship with your children. One, because DCF may come in and take them. Two, because your children may at some point say, why isn't mom protecting me from this dangerous situation? And so that may be the avenue that you approach to say, you have to choose a different path. You can't keep going back to this man and expecting him to behave differently.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And Nancy, the line that I use with family members is similar to when they're caught in addiction. I will do nothing that continues to support the endangerment of people I love, but I will do everything I can to help them get the help that they need. And so I think it's good to set those boundaries around the conversation of like, listen, I can't go around the mountain on the problem anymore. I have to get to solution. And if I have to involve authorities to protect the children, the people who can't protect themselves, then I will.
And if you haven't already, see if you can connect her with a domestic violence shelter in her area. Sometimes she may listen better to them than she does to you.
Yeah, that's really good. So Nancy, thank you so much for calling in today. We're going to send you a copy of The Emotionally Destructive Relationship that gives a deeper understanding of what your oldest daughter may be in, and it may be a really, really helpful resource to her. We're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Lucy in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who connects with us through our app. Lucy, how's it going today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. Well, tell us what's going on.
Well, I got another adult parenting question for you. I hope you're not tired of them.
No, we're not. If
Not
they,
at all.
If they're an issue you're dealing with, we're all ears.
Well, my question, I'll start off with my question, is what's our next step short term, and should we leave her alone or should we reach out to her?
Okay.
So we raised our children in a godly Christian home, and we weren't perfect, but we were very loving. But my daughter has always struggled with mental illness since she was pretty young, suicidal ideations and such. She's never tried to commit suicide, but she has said things. And she's had a lot of mental health help and therapy and medicines and all. So
has anyone given her a diagnosis? Mental health issues is there's 3,000 some odd diagnoses in the DSM. Yeah,
she's been diagnosed. I only know as when she was still in my home because she doesn't tell me a lot. But when she was 16, she was diagnosed with anxiety and some depression.
Okay.
And that's it. She has told me that she has I think she has a diagnosis of PTSD.
Okay. Do you know what the traumatic event was?
Well, there was a traumatic event when she was about 18 or 19 here in our house. Her ex-boyfriend broke into the house and went to her room with a knife, and we were all sleeping, and she screamed and he ran out, so nothing ever happened. He cut through screens.
So that's definitely a traumatic, threatening event. That's a life-threatening event. So, Lucy, what was the event that led you to the question that you're asking us today? Like, what do we do now? What happened?
Okay, well, the most recent one was just 2 days ago. Going back to last Tuesday, she got disrespectful with my husband, calling him rude, which me and my other son were right there, and he wasn't really being rude, but she accused him of being rude, and then she just started talking about what a terrible dad he was, that he didn't spend enough time with her, and we wanted to talk to her more about it, and so we planned a meeting with her on Saturday. And when we sat down for this meeting, we were, planning to ask her, tell us more, what's your feelings, and we've done this before, but it just keeps coming up. She just never gets over it. We've apologized, everything, but she keeps accusing us of all of her problems. So when we sat down, she seemed on edge, and I don't even know what the catalyst was, but she just started screaming at us, cursing at us, just saying, I hate you. When my husband just kept saying, I love you.
But she was emotionally just kind of out of control and dysregulated and just kind of.
And then when I tried to tell her I loved her, and then she just got calling me horrible names, and she grew up in a home where there wasn't no cursing. There was
but she's usually using verbally abusive language for sure, right?
Yeah, so she was just very out of control. She was hitting herself some. She was postured, throwing a glass at me. She was drinking water. She spilled the water, and
so she escalates to a point where it gets really out of control.
Yes, very out of control. But she's 31, and it happened once about 8 months ago. And she apologized, and
let's do this, because I think we got a really good picture of what's going on, Lucy. So, Mark, where does Lucy go from here?
Lucy, is she under the care of a doctor, and is she on medication, your daughter?
I don't think so anymore. She is she does have a therapist. We did find marijuana gummies in her stuff.
Yeah, so she might be self-medicating.
She has always said that marijuana is way better than any kind of medicine that she's tried. But when she moved back in, she has not. I know she has not been smoking marijuana.
And what's
so she's living with you now?
She moved in 8 months ago. Yeah, she was on her own for 7 years.
And is that a
And then she
long-term
just moved back
decision, or is that just a temporary thing until she gets back on her feet and finds another place?
Definitely temporary. But she had not talked about moving out, but then she left this morning for work with all her stuff.
And so your question is, what do you do now?
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds like
it doesn't sound like she's going to be repentive like she was the last time. It sounds like she's going to hold out. Do we get in touch with her?
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty.
Or do we just ignore her?
It sounds like it's pretty fresh right now. I wouldn't ignore her, but you might not go ahead and chase her. You know, she's old enough. She's made this decision to move out. She's angry. Eventually, our emotions settle down, and if she does need you, that can be a good driver for reconciliation in the relationship. But I think then it's when she comes back, that's when you, and she needs support, that's when you have boundaries around your support. You can say, we love you, but we are concerned about you. We are willing to help, but we also need you to be doing this. And that might be, more than therapy. It might be going to see a doctor. It might be us being able to be involved in some of those doctor's visits with you. It sounds like it's really hard for her to receive love. You're telling her, I love you, and she's saying, I hate you, and that's likely what she feels about herself.
Yeah, it sounds
here.
like she may have a shame barrier going on.
But it sounds like there are
Yeah,
some deep
that's
mental
exactly
health things happening here that it sounds like she needs more than just therapy for.
Yeah. And JJ, what would you...
Exactly, and she has accused us so many times of neglecting her.
Yeah.
Even though we reach out,
Lucy,
we're the ones constantly initiating, and she says, that's your job. You're supposed to reach out to me. Like, I don't need to call you. You need to call me. You need to text me. You need to ask me how I'm doing.
Yeah, so you hear the music, Lucy. So I think one of the important things is what Marc was saying is create clarity around the behavior and boundaries. And that's what you want to communicate to her, is what your expectation is for healthy interactions and relationships. And the boundary is if that cannot happen. Because, again, you get to be the scapegoat of all of her problems until she has to own them. And it's time that she starts to own them and starts to work through them on it. But you have to have boundaries to protect yourself and the health of the relationship. So, Lucy, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back and believe that that's going to help you get clarity on that issue.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His
his.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. I just want to remind you, we have some great intensives coming up in the new year. We have our Intimacy and Marriage that's coming up February 14th in Orange County. And any issue that you're dealing with in your marriage or you just want to strengthen your marriage, that is a fantastic place to do it. JJ, you had a couple things for Lucy as we're finishing up with her today.
Yeah, so, a lot of the behaviors and the interactions that Lucy was describing, we don't know this because obviously we can't diagnose someone in absentia, but it sounds very similar to borderline personality disorder. There's the suicidality, there's the push-pull, there's these unrealistic expectations, and there's not a lot that you can do in terms of curing borderline, but what you can do as someone who loves someone with borderline is be very clear about your boundaries and hold to them. And what that means is when you set a boundary with that person and they revolt and they walk away, they pack up their things and leave, you don't chase them and and try and negotiate. You say, no, this is the boundary. If you want to be in relationship with me as I want to be in relationship with you, this is what I require. And you don't bend on that because borderlines, as well as narcissists, always try to change. They always try to negotiate, change the structure of the boundary.
Yeah, they're changing the rules constantly to bend to whatever they're experiencing in the moment. So, Lucy, we're going to send you a copy of the book Boundaries, and believe that will help you in this process. We know that this is a really, really difficult situation. And, JJ, you mentioned even doing family therapy. If you're going to have hard conversations with her, doing that with the help of a therapist, I think would be really, really important. So, Lucy, thank you so much for calling in today. And again, we are praying for you, wishing you well as you're working through this difficult relationship with your daughter. We're going to go to a final call today. We're going to go to Angel listening in New York on Sirius XM. Angel, tell us what's going on today.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking my call. We're in rainy New York right now.
Oh, all right.
But I just wanted to qualify the question quickly and then ask the question.
Yeah, go for it.
I have a 96-year-old mother. We love her to pieces. My two sisters take care of her. She's under excellent professional care as well. And then I do what I can.
Yeah.
And she has, the typical challenges, mental challenges, some Alzheimer's, some dementia, and of course the physical challenges. But she's pretty solid. The challenge that we're having now is that she was raised by an aunt who was blessed with 100 years of age.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. And she just passed. And we're at a crossroad as to, do we let the family closer to the aunt let her know, or do we mention it to her? Because our concern is that it was her loving aunt, but because of her mental challenges, we would hate to short circuit her in any way with this devastating news of someone who raised her and was very close to her. So we're pretty, we're faith people and we love our Lord, but and we're trying to let be guided by grace, but we're challenged.
That makes sense. Is she used to having connection? Is she used to talking on the phone with the aunt?
Oh, it diluted within the last maybe 5-10 years, but was pretty vibrant for
and what's
quite some time.
What's your mom's memory like?
She's okay. It's not sharp.
Yeah.
But it's respectful.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love that you're thinking about it this way. And so, I mean, my advice would be do the most loving thing. And so if the most loving thing is not to tell because of the fragile mental state that she is in, and obviously at 96 years old, we don't know how long she's going to live, but most likely not too much longer. So I think you do the most loving thing, and that's why I was asking, is she used to talking with her on the phone or interacting? Because then it might become difficult to keep saying, well, she's not available. Why is she absent? And that could be confusing, and that could be distressing in itself. But if she's not used to having regular connection with her, I think you just do the most loving thing.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Yeah.
I totally agree with that, Mark.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, JJ. Yeah.
No, I was just saying to Mark that I absolutely agree. It's the same principle that we have in recovery work, where if you go and make amends with people that you've harmed, unless doing so would cause more harm. And in this case, if telling her, hey, by the way, the aunt that raised you has died, that's going to create more harm for your mother, who's already suffering from some mental illness as well as physical challenges of being 96. You're not required to share that with her. You're also not required, if somehow it came out and she asked, you can tell her the truth, but there's not a need to go and say, hey, I need to let you know this and cause more suffering for you. Like Mark said, to do the most loving thing for your mom.
Yeah. I think that's really good. And Angel, I just, commend you guys for the way that you've surrounded your mom and supported her and making sure that she is very, very well cared for. That's incredibly commendable.
Did that help, Angel?
Thank you. It does, because we were at a crossroads, and that'll bring me peace, and I'll play this over for my sisters and let them choose, let their spirit accept it. I've accepted it, and I'll give them the loving courtesy of them accepting it as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, we're going to send you a copy of David Stoops' book, Living Strong, Finishing Well. And just believe that, not that, Angel, you're at the end of your life or anything like that, but that really helps us see our lives from the picture of that as we age into later seasons of our life, that God is still at work and his purpose is still active in us. And again, Angel, thank you so much for calling in today. JJ and Mark, I have mentioned the intimacy in marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When couples go to this workshop, to this weekend, what do they experience?
They experience a lot of insight and understanding that we're teaching people to identify patterns, right? Many couples focus on the problems and the issues, and if we just figure out this problem, this issue, then things will get better. But really, it's about patterns that happen because we're all wounded. I mentioned that at the beginning. So all of us have emotional wounding. All of us have triggers. And at Intimacy in Marriage, we're helping each person identify what their emotional wounding is, what their attachment style is, what their expectations are, and when they come together, what kind of core pattern does that create? But it's not just the bad news. We're also telling them, what's the good news? How do you get out of that? How do you reform? How do you recondition? How do you transform to have a healthy and emotionally secure marriage?
Yeah, how do we break these negative patterns and establish healthier ones?
And it's not just for marriages.
Once I'm aware of the wound, I can then make adjustments for how that wound impacts the way that I interact with you. And now I can have a healthier interaction with you.
And we also have engaged couples who come too, not just people who are married. So,
yes,
that's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'd love for you to join us, and that is in Orange County on February 14th, Valentine's Day weekend. So
That's right.
Intimacy in Marriage. We have some great things coming up. Any resources that we can connect you with. If 2020, you want to start 2025 as the best year ever and you need help, give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Go online to newlife.com. Thank you all for being with us today. Mark, JJ, loved hanging out with you guys. And until
Great
next
to be
time,
on with you guys.
Be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.